to the Intel Extreme Masters Brazil. We're coming live from the campus party in Sao Paulo. It is 2013's campus party as well. Joining me this time is Riv and Jason on the analysis desk. Welcome back, Jason.
I thought it was Inspector Turdcross is what we were going with.
There was that as well. What does it say at the bottom of the
still doesn't say it.
Yeah, it still says that. Someone has actually come up with an idea of Jason Captain Kaplan. The Captain. No, it's not working for us. Anyway, if you do have some suggestions for a new name for but my name is too long, then please forward them to us on Twitter, or you can leave them in the Reddit thread on Reddit, obviously. And also, don't forget, facebook.com, twitter.com, youtube.com/IEM if you'd like to comment on anything, view the videos that we put up as well, and catch up with the interviews that we took place over the last couple of days as well. Plenty of content on there for you guys to enjoy, as well as the live streams. Next up is LGIM, of course from Korea, already having won their first game in 31 minutes and 28 seconds, the fastest so far of this Brazil Intel Extreme Masters stop. And they're going up against Keed, who need something, maybe a miracle, maybe an incredible miracle, Jason.
I tried that pun once and it didn't work.
Yeah,
for some
that's
reason.
why I brought it up. Jason, lack of puns, Kaplan.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, that hole got bigger.
Doesn't matter what I think.
Just digging.
So the serious stuff then, Riv, obviously we're impressed by the Koreans, but...
Indeed. Especially with the kind of nonchalant, Olaf can do whatever he wants. Nobody picked him.
Yeah, nobody picked him, didn't care.
Yeah.
They left him out there to be had if he wanted to be, wasn't taken, doesn't matter. Keed, on the other hand, Jason, I mean, puns aside, they do need a bit of a miracle in this game, surely, don't they?
I was trying to think of one just now. Maybe the Keaton. Never mind.
No.
The thing is, with Incredible Miracle, we didn't see any targeted bans toward them. They got the Lee Sin, they got Jace, they got Rumble. We might need to see something like that, but then that leaves, Shen, Elise, it leaves Kha'Zix, Olaf open. So it's really dangerous to kind of go for the ban pick phase, because that's really what's going to be decided. Because if LGIM gets the same champions yet again, they're going to do the exact same thing we just saw, and I wouldn't even call that a win in their last game. That was just a stomp.
It was, yeah. The other thing I've got to tell you is if you check out on the Intel Extreme Masters website, you will see that the rankings are there, and they are quite complex in terms of the way they work out and who shakes out for the World Championship. But just to update you where we are right now, 10 teams have definitely qualified for the World Championship. That includes Millennium, who've reached the semi-final here. That's all they had to do to get enough points. They already have 15. They now have a minimum of 50, so they make it through to the World Championship. That leaves 2 spots. Now, it's not automatic that 2 spots will come from Brazil, so we also have a countback system, and at the moment there are 4 teams tied on 35 points. You can see there on your screen. They're the 10 teams already through. Let's go through them. SK Telecom T1, I think we all know about them. Meet Your Makers, the polls have been fantastic all the way through the season, winning Singapore, of course. Gambit Gaming, twice winners this season in Intel Extreme Masters, both at Gamescom and Katowice more recently. Absolute Legends, we're not entirely sure. They do have a spot. It's theirs to be taken, but they don't have a team to fill it right now, but who knows, that might change. Obviously, Fnatic, SK Gaming, Azubu Blaze, Team EG, who were CLGEU, of course, and the last 2 that have qualified so far, Azubu Frost, without having played a game here, they have a place in the World Final, courtesy of the fact that they have the best points advantage from the most strongest stop, which was Katowice, and Millennium, as we've said, they've gone through. So, yeah, I'm getting some strange things in my head. I really knew that. Millennium also through as well from this tournament, as we said earlier, from the semi-final. So that's the 10 teams. Now, in theory, LGIM pose probably the biggest risk to the 4 teams who are currently joint 9th.
Right.
They have to reach the final. They don't have to win it. They just need to reach the final. So LGIM will be a shoo-in for the World Championship if they reach the final. That leaves 1 spot. It then comes down to, can a Nexus get out of this group? Can Keed get out of this group? Can Insight get out of this group? Because if one of them does, they get a minimum of 35 points. But here's the deal. This stop will not be one of the strongest stops. In fact, the next strongest after Katowice, excluding Gamescom, would actually be Cologne, which was where CJ Entus scored 35 points for a semi-final spot. So CJ Entus are probably sitting there right now. Oh, they might not be, but they're probably sitting there right now looking at this going, please LGIM win this tournament and get through to the final with Millennium or MYM or someone that doesn't matter.
I think they also might be wondering how they lost against a Jungle Heimerdinger.
They might be thinking that this morning as well. That might be more important in their minds. I'm glad you brought that up, not me. CJ Entus hater right there. But they can go through to the World Championship. So it's it's incredible to think that they, as long ago as Cologne, which was back in November, that they could actually qualify through the point system. So there is a sneaky way that the Brazilians might get in. So it's still important for them to play for a semi-final spot, because if Absolute Legends don't have a team, then we work our way down through the qualifiers, and it could be that there might be a Brazilian team in that mix. So it's still important that they try and find their way through to the semi-finals at the very least. And well, they're up against it. You can see them on your screen. They don't look too stressed, do they? They're quite happy.
No, it's the best way to go into it. Cade's saying, another one of those normal games. We're going to try to play this. They did get a chance to watch what LGIM was doing, right? They had the chance to sit back, and I think people watching were learning a little bit more than even a Nexus because of what happened in that game. So these guys have a little bit of an edge. They may have done a little bit more research in figuring out Mid-King's champion pool, because that was hellacious for a Nexus during that last game. So a little bit of homework for them, but still, it doesn't stop a powerhouse.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, it doesn't. And you can see the Koreans on your screen right now. Always difficult to read Koreans. They always look so passive, they're so calm, and I know inside the passion burns just as strongly as any European or North American or Asian teams, but just somehow they managed to put over a way of calmness.
Well, to kind of go back to the last game real quick, I just want to touch on this, is that we saw lane swaps happen. We saw Jace going 1v2 in that mid lane, and they ended up having to switch out of that just because Jace was still farming exceptionally well from range. So it's kind of a misstep on a Nexus's part. So Keep might be able to play that to their advantage, might not. I guess we'll find out very shortly. But the Nidalee ban coming out yet again, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, Brazilians, I guess, just really enjoy playing Nidalee. She's really good in top lane. She's really good, obviously, in the mid lane is AP. And then the Lee Sin ban, so they're obviously going to be targeting that at Ring, which very smart move on their part.
Yeah. A big playmaker for them last game. Again, the Nidalee, like you said, it's a safe, like we said last time, it's a safe lane. It's always going to be a lane that doesn't lose. Obviously, if you play at even average or at par, and if you play it great, then you have one of the best split pushes in the game. So that's not going to be a factor here coming in for LGIM.
I don't know if you guys at home can hear that, but I can hear the crowd just chanting away behind us.
We haven't talked about the crowd either. I mean, we've got a Brazilian team now, and they're the only Brazilian team on stage, so they'll get all of the support here.
The love.
From the crowd, and they've been fantastic. Someone said that they were like a football crowd, and that's exactly how it feels. You've got the vuvuzelas going off. You've got the what did you call them? The clappers? I can't remember what you came up with.
They're thunder sticks.
They're thunder sticks, but you called them something completely different, didn't you?
No, I think that was Joe and Jad. They called it noise sticks or
noise sticks. Yeah, it was something like that. But they are thunder sticks.
Or something.
But they're making a terrific amount of noise, and they'll make noise over almost anything out there. Put a good board down, they'll cheer. It seems like they'll cheer anything the Brazilians do that's positive.
A lot of safe, just pick bans or core pick bans coming in for LGIM. Looks like they're just trying to shut down some of that comfort zone for Cade. We'll have to see what they choose to pick. They will not allow LGIM to get the misfortune.
They do have Jace. They still have that Rumble Veil if they want to go for it. Not to mention Kha'Zix and Olaf are yet left open once again. But LGIM, I mean, having Olaf are available to pick, didn't even bother with them. I guess they just really weren't fancying him, I guess, and really weren't threatened by him if the other team ran it.
The Mumu's still open here.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Nivea's still open for Mid-King.
Yeah, Misfortune. So Misfortune continues 100%. Picked or banned. Amumu's the only other one that remains. Olaf, of course, was left completely last time round. Wasn't banned, wasn't picked.
No, not banned, not picked as well. That was his first game. So maybe here again, if he does get picked, that'll kind of up it back up for his pick ban ratio. But the Kha'Zix is going to be the first out. So far, that single target determination from LGIM, what will they compose around it?
Just damage.
It's going to have to be. That's all they did last game.
Yeah, they were pretty much just all damage champions, and yet they still built tanky. Jace built a little bit tanky. At Lee Sin go for that Warmogs. Even had Rumble go for the Riley's Crystal Scepter. So, build a little tanky makes you go a long way. But we do have Jace actually looks like being hovered over for Keith. We did see it banned against them out of Insight. So maybe we'll see something amazing out of them. Maybe they can kind of keep up with Mid-King's Jace. This saw last game.
Milan waiting to pick. We have seen Milan on Olaf previously. He played quite a good game for his team, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and pick out the AD carry safe from Kha'Zix. It's going to be Ezreal.
You still have Nunu and Caitlyn available, though, if LGM wants to go for a kind of really aggressive push on a lane. But Nocturne, I always love me a good Nocturne if they lock that in. He's just so much fun to play, and he's so much fun to watch because that ultimate is just perfect, especially with the Kha'Zix. You can just stealth up. I mean, once you pop that Nocturne ultimate, if Kha'Zix stealths, you're not going to see where he's going at all, even without really low cooldown on his invisibility.
So an in-your-face fight team. That's what Lulu says right there. And it's going to be somewhat of a poke lane. I think it'll be a Sona coming in for Cade in this matchup with that Jace. The initiation is going to be quite good if they do pick up the Sona. And it'll also help against the Lulu lane, especially if they do choose. I don't know if they would go so much Caitlyn now. We have seen Graves previously, but...
We still have Blitzcrank open.
This is true.
We also have the Zyra open, which is also a really good champion just like Lulu. I mean, you have really good harass, you have really good range CC. I mean, Lulu's isn't really CC, but I still say that Giller Lance basically should be a snare with how slow you actually move when you get hit with it.
Yeah, 8-0. Actually, when I play Lulu, I love just shouting out 8-0, because who else has an 80% slow at level 1? Exactly. There it is. Sona could be hovered on and chosen for this team. Loop also likes to play Taric, but in this matchup, you don't really usually throw a Taric and an Ezreal together.
Well, still, you mix in the Jace acceleration gate with Sona's E to
get even
more
Great
speed.
Movement there.
Really good chasing team, even a decent disengage. I mean, obviously more stronger for engaging, but still, with that crescendo, it offers a lot to your team. And the problem is, with the Kha'Zix in your face, with the Nocturne in your face, and then you have Lulu ulting on one of them, it's really going to cause a lot of trouble for your team.
So Cade are putting up damage. They do have the disengaged team so far, but with that, it looks like they do want to initiate some of these fights.
Well, they still don't have a lot of damage on their team. They're going to need a top lane if that Jace isn't... Oh, okay, there you go. I would say if Jace was in fact going middle, they're going to need some more damage, but with that Xin, who just naturally gets a lot of damage just with his passive, that 10% armor pen, should be quite nice. And we might even see the Locket of the Iron Solari being built on him yet again, which we saw Gambit Gaming kind of make popular.
This is really interesting to see the Xin pick. It means even more aggression coming from Cade here if they want to get into that jungle and try to shut down Ring, knowing he's one of the most pivotal player for these guys. Having Ring on Nocturne and what we will see for mid king, those two, Freak and I said before, having a mid and a jungler always just going for that is huge to have. It's such map control. Ooh, and it is going to be a lockdown. No, hovering. Oh man. They go for this, it would be quite different because there is a lot of explosion to go back onto Eve in the initiations on these fights. But then again, it's going to be a Kha'Zix and a Nocturne jumping in for what they have to be worried about.
The thing is, this is the patch when Evelyn was kind of nerfed down, so she's not as strong, obviously, as she's going to be here if they wanted to go for it. But and Elise, I mean, you have CC with her, you have tankiness when you go for that Warmogs, and you have a lot of damage since it's percent based, so it's not a bad champion overall to pick up. The Varus, though, I'm really interested to see how well that Paragon can actually use him.
The last pick to fully counter here with the AP mid. If it is going to be, do they choose to actually go full AD as they hover over Renekton? They do need to make this fight composition a little stronger, and it looks like a very strong team composed of all AD champions.
Yep, we saw Gambit Gaming using this against both the Azubus and Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, using the armor shroud that Renekton has stacked up, which is a Black Cleaver, even a Last Whisper. Then have 0 armor to you, basically, so you can just tear through them one by one. But it all really comes down to how well can Renekton play in lane. He's obviously one of the strongest pre-6 top laners, or solo laners, I'll say. But if you have a bad start, you pretty much just fall off through the entire game, and you basically just build straight tank, and just the only benefit you give to your team is an armor shred, which we did see Darian do. He didn't really build much damage, he just built that straight tankiness.
It looks like, I don't know, I'd say Cade may want to pull out a lane swap here as well. It's going to be better to sustain, actually, to push back on Elise. Varus and Lulu is a heavy poke lane, though. I don't know if Mylon would really want to set himself up for that lane.
Yeah, he'd have a lot easier time against that Elise. He can just get in there with, obviously, the slice and dice. But Riv, you look at the two team compositions, who do you think has a stronger team?
A stronger team right off the bat is Cade in the beginning of the game. The damage they're bringing to the table is bursty at its earliest levels. And then once it gets to that 5-on-5, or rather 5-item team, I should say, not 5-on-5, is when they're actually going to be able to fight back and forth at that even level. But for those first few levels, it's that Xin in the jungle. He's so strong, and I actually expect to see an invasion from that team. But if it goes into that late game, the reset from Kha'Zix, the mobility of Elise, the mobility of Nocturne, and the Lulu ultimate can really disengage and re-engage these fights for LGIM, and they know how to fight perfectly, so they can do that whether they want to or not.
Yeah, not to mention the Varus ultimate mixed in with Lulu. Like, if you knock them up and you pop that Varus ultimate onto them, they're slow. They're obviously going to have a hard time trying to get out of or to actually release the range of his ultimate. Yeah, going to be quite interesting because they have so much damage on their team. Like you're saying, they can burst someone and just evaporate them from the entire field if they want to. But with this ping, obviously going to be a little bit of a factor. But LGIM showed last game just how well they can play with this.
Okay, so LGIM currently 81% over 19% in the betting. You guys seem to think you know where the winner's going. It's going to be LGIM, according to you guys. We're about to find out. Match 3 is about to get underway at the Intel Extreme Masters in Brazil. It's time to go over to your commentary team, both in Brazilian and, of course, in English.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm here with Freak. My name, of course, is Joe Miller, a very ill Joe Miller. I'm getting progressively worse through the day. I'm not sure whether it's just because it got more humid after the rain now or what, but it's kind of catching up on me.
You look better than yesterday, though.
I do.
You look better than
Hopefully
yesterday.
Tomorrow I'll look better again.
Yeah, I don't think that's possible. You're pretty much at the pinnacle of human attractiveness.
Oh, that's sweet of you.
You're
But
welcome.
to get into the game, Freak.
It's backwards day.
It's backwards. It's backwards day. Great. So to get into the game, thanks for that one.
You're welcome.
Who do you favour? We heard there that Rivington said Cade are going to be stronger at the early levels than LGIM.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think this game's all going to pan out?
It's going to pan out very interestingly because Cade is already looking for a very cheeky invade. He's going to spot Paragon right here. Hits the Mystic Shot. He knows he's there. They just don't have any crowd control to follow up. Unfortunately, that wasn't a Flash Frost. The Mystic Shot that shot out there. But so yes, what Rib said about the early game is very, very true. Cade is going to have pretty strong lanes, and they should have a pretty good job of this invade as well. There's not a whole lot that Incredible Miracle can do to stop them. However, the Incredible Miracle team fight lineup is pretty crazy because Elise, Nocturne, and Kha'Zix are really good at diving, and Lulu is probably the best support for any all-in bruisers. So you can actually use them as the focal point for her abilities, and so Lulu's going to be, they basically got 4 guys there who are going to be really, really good at diving in there and killing things. What surprises me is that Paragon here is playing Varus, because Varus is a fairly unsafe AD carry. He's, unlike Ezreal or Caitlyn, who are going to sit in the back and be able to kite. He's going to be kind of on his own devices, so I'm interested to see how he pans out in fights.
And what about the lane switches that we may well see coming in here? Do you expect anything on that front?
I was expecting to see Renekton not fight Elise. I don't think that's the easiest matchup for him. Being fully melee guarantees you're going to take damage from her, and up until you get a lot of damage out, but you can't just wave clear and then leave the lane over and over. You've got to actually sit there and kind of tough out her damage. So I don't see that top lane going very well for Cade, but I do see the mid lane being pretty okay for them.
Well, we've seen blue buff going over early on to Vulcan, obviously on that Xin Shao, and the red buff being picked up by Ring from the start. Wow, that is a very early aggression. We talk about now how much of a difference it can make in those lanes when you get that level advantage over your opponent.
And that's going to be a very, very important thing here. You can see them getting very close to level 2 here. They're going to be pretty tied up, but you can see they're actually pushing the wave down. They're actually shoving the minions down, putting as many auto attacks down as possible because they want to hit level 2 first and then shove them out of lane before Sona hits level 2. Now that she's actually leaving lane and not in experience range for minions to put the ward down, she's going to be even farther behind, and they have the opportunity right here to put on a lot of pressure. And there they go.
Here we go then, auto attacks coming out on towards Raffas. Are they going to be able to finish him off? Actually flash away there by Sona. They are going to go in on towards Raffas. He will actually back away from that one. Still needs to watch out though. He's stacked up with that blight. Obviously the cooldowns at level 2 not going to be enough to pop that one, but already we're seeing that this LGIM bottom lane is looking to play a very aggressive game style.
Yep, and up until Sona hits level 2, they are going to be completely zoned. Ezreal, he went Doran's Blade and no potions. He cannot sustain until he actually auto attacks something. Sona cannot sustain until she gains some experience, which will be on this turret, but up until then, they are missing out on gold.
Yep, and they're going to keep pushing that through in this middle lane. They are both now up at level 3, as you can see Jace there just knocking Mid King back. It was at level 2, as soon as the Mid King hit level 2, he jumped straight in there onto Snolls, who was still level 1, caused him a bit of a problem.
And there you can see just him sustaining back up, that flask in those potions, but here comes the gank out of Mid King. Nice leap by him. And that's a really good patience by him because very early on he used that leap aggressively and looked for kills, and now they didn't know Xin Zhao could go for ganks. He's going to play more passive.
Oh, Nocturne may just get caught out here, though. Actually, will casually just saunter away from this one, but he's going to be chased down here by Vulcan. Is he going to be able to escape or flash away? Vulcan flashes in. The field will actually send him away, but they're going to get the kill. Are they going to get the kill? Yes, they are, just about. Jace picks it up. Mid King going to turn around now onto Snolls.
Oh.
He'll get that double buff back, and will he be able to chase the kill? He's got a level advantage here on Vulcan.
I think he can. He's going to keep moving on here. That red buff is there. He flashes for it, and that is a double kill there. Mid King, nice play.
Bad times coming out when that Kha'Zix, who we've talked about over the last couple of days, he's definitely not been as highly contested as we saw at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice and at the LCS, but this is the reason why Kha'Zix is, or probably should be, that highly contested champion.
He got a lot of that isolation damage from that Q. It's very, very important for him. Just the poke of the bottom lane, just pretty brutal here, really. But yeah, when you get into those sort of extended jungle fights and he gets that isolation damage on you, you start to fall over rather quickly, and you saw that right there. The damage output quite immense.
And in the top lane, actually Renekton doing a good job against Lilac there. We'll see how that long actually lasts. Lilac actually being forced to pop a good couple of pots in there, and you see it again. Mylon going in, he's actually going to ignite, will get stunned up. Is he going to be able to escape? There's the repel, and Mylon looks like he's going down, and just as I say he's doing well, I give him the curse.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he had opened the lane with, I believe, 9 potions and 2 wards, and he was down about 4 potions with that one in, but here comes Vulcan looking for a gank.
Let's see if he can actually do anything with this one. He's got full HP, exhaust is down on the Nocturne. The fear was good, but it's not enough. Luke will actually take the kill away.
That was really, really nicely done right there. Good gank. That lane playing aggressively over and over. And with Lash actually forced out, I'm surprised Incredible Miracle even stayed in there that long, because that was a very easy gank. Nicely performed there by Cade, but that was quite the overextension.
And again, showing that in terms of kills, these Brazilian teams certainly have what it takes to, stand and bang with the best in the world. But we've seen it over and over this tournament that finishing is the real problem. Getting those global objectives, that's been the real hindrance that these Brazilian teams have suffered. And I think that's an experience thing, Freak.
It is.
These other teams, they're playing weekly, if not, well, probably daily against other amazing teams, the European scene, the NA scene. But the Brazilians just don't have access to that kind of range of experience to go at.
They do have a sort of smaller pool of champions to play. Oh my gosh! Would you look at that damage from Mid King? He's stealthed in.
Oh, knocked away there, but is he going to get away? No, he's not going to get away. Nicely finished off, and that is Mid King now 3-0-0. And Jace is probably going to have to think about going somewhere else, because he's not going to be able to farm up well against Mid King now.
It's not going to get any better for him. He's going to have to sit in the back and try to farm this Shock Blast at this point, because that sort of situation will repeat itself. Mid King can pretty much one-shot the ranged minion line with that Evolved Void Spike and get that isolation damage again and again and again and again. And that's going to sort of keep happening here unless he does something different.
Look at Vulcan. Yeah, it's great to jump in there and try and force Mid King away, and then you realize actually you're 3 levels behind and he's got a double buff, which is the point where you say, oh well, I probably should just escape from that one, because you're not going to be able to stand and bang with his Kha'Zix, who actually now may have a chance to get in on Vulcan. He's actually going to let him go out. The jump wasn't the best, but they've got Ring coming around this side. Can Vulcan get away? He's going to be ignited up. Where's the fear going to send him? It doesn't even matter, because again the Void Spikes of Mid King absolutely obliterate him.
That damage output is ludicrous from him. He's up, their team is up 1,600 gold. Ring is going to walk right into that camp, and with no support whatsoever, just says, yeah, I'm going to take your golden buff. We know you can't stop me. And as I say that, of course, here comes these two.
Yeah, bottom lane actually headed up here, but look at Ring. He is going straight in there for Ezreal. He'll force him to arcane shift over the wall and get away to safety. And that is just the sheer brutality of and the confidence of these Korean players. With that bottom lane there coming up, yes, they might have not been able to keep him alive in time, but he was going to damn well make sure that he put his damage down to make sure that bottom lane could get something after.
And that's really wise, right? They kind of watched for when Sona and Ezreal left the lane. You saw Lulu and Varus just come right back up after them and said, if you stay and fight, it's a 3-on-2. You won't kill Nocturne in time, forcing him away. Very, very smart move. Good coordination overall. That's actually just super important, is whenever you go for a jungle invade, pull the nearby lanes to help you as soon as you see the opposition move around, because generally speaking, you invade when you have a numbers advantage, but you need to pull your lanes to make sure that advantage stays there.
Right now, it's over a 2,000 gold lead, 5-2 in kills. No turrets up until now. We can see that bottom lane again, he is being pressured. And actually, Luke may be in a little bit of trouble here. Will be able to get himself out of danger, but these wards in the rushes, for Varus in particular, well, he's skilled 3 points in piercing arrow. He needs to have that vision in the bush to make each one of those arrows count.
And exactly what those wards are for, of course. He's been able to poke that lane out so very well. And, Riv called it in the very beginning that when you grab Lulu, Sona is the likely support to put against that, because you need it sustained to deal with all the crazy poke that this Varus Lulu lane can put out. And when you look at that, they're only down 5 minions. They've got a kill in the lane. They're only down 5 minions. Ooh, that Crescendo missed.
Oh, the Crescendo did miss, but we will see the Ezreal ultimate coming out there onto Lasher, but Paragon is hammering away on Luke. He's going to miss his Q, but it won't matter. An auto attack to finish off. Raffles actually has no mana remaining here, and Lasher putting down the ultimate on himself will keep himself alive. Another great play out of LGIM.
That was absolutely great. And the ultimate coming out, that Tendril of Corruption as well, was required there at the very end. You saw Lulu just out of range.
In this top lane, actually, we are seeing the gank coming down on towards Mylon. How do you escape from Mid King? You pop your ultimate, but it just doesn't matter. He's 4-0-1. Lilac getting himself now up to 2-0 as a result of this one. This is just snowballing out of control.
And speaking of Snow, Snow is going for a little bit of damage there in the mid lane. Ring not quite taking enough damage to go away. He'd have to push himself back. Riv leans over and smiles, like, nice job. Jason Kaplan, I give lessons.
Or Jason, I'm coming for you on Jason's level. I don't know. Ring's going to have to back away from this. Ooh, the shock blast going through, not quite got the range. Now Lash is coming in to help out with this one. And we can see that Cade just saying, well, we don't want a piece of that one. If we look at the levels here, like level 9 Kha'Zix to level 7 Jace, there's no one that can really compete with these Kha'Zix. I mean, Renekton is the closest at level 8. And we just saw in that last one with Elise there to help lock him down. The single W coming out there onto Snowles, and he's down to half HP.
He's in an incredibly good situation, and Snowles is building so squishy. He's got nothing in armor or health in his build so far. He's about a couple thousand gold into his build, 2,700, about 2,000 really in his items right now, and nothing helps him survive that lane. And that's kind of the problem, is he had the really bad level 1 or level 2 where Mid King shoved the lane, then leap Q'd and got him down to half. Used all his potions, went back in, kept fighting. Now Mid King's so far ahead in items, he just is going to be that bully. When you let an assassin get ahead of you in lane, there's not easy coming back.
Yep, and again, down in his bottom lane to counter those wards in the vision. We've seen pink wards being put down by Cade, but again, the piercing arrow. It's almost half of his health there gone, Ezreal. He just can't stay with him. Again, he's a level behind. We've got the Vamp Scepter, Doran's Blade for both players with those boots as well, but Sona's literally just having to heal throughout this entire time. As we are going to see once again Snowles in the middle, gets ignited up, flashing from Mid King. It just looks like someone playing against me.
Oh, and in the bottom lane, another kill coming up there. Nice pickup there. Again, that Tendril of Corruption, just so very good. Chain of Corruption, I should say, is doing a heck of a lot of damage, rooting them in place, and the team just follows up. Crescendo, of course, not enough for those. And this is what LGIM is doing, is they are just going in for kills in that bottom lane. He's a source of crowd control. That's what he's for. It's not about the team fight. It's about winning their lanes so hard, because he'll just CC you, be able to land the piercing arrow, play from far back if he needs to, and just your team just takes so much damage from him.
And right now, the only one with a kill, well, I say the only one, Sona, as well as the Jace. Jace actually going double longsword once again, so no direct protection for him again in that lane, as we see Dragon being done by Incredible Miracle. And that's going to be obviously for free. That puts them now 6,500 gold in the lead after 12 minutes. This is not looking good whatsoever for Cade in this tournament. I mean, they've already lost game number 1. Losing this would pretty much mean now it's all but mathematically impossible for them to go through.
There's a very, very low chance for them. I think they need a very fast... This game looks to be completely in Incredible Miracle's hands, so assuming that they do win this one, Cade needs to have an extremely fast win against the Nexus, and I believe that... Actually, I can't math out the rest of the matches, but basically I think they need to look for a three-way tie at 1-2 and turn that one around there.
Yeah, and that's the dangerous part, because the Nexus managed to stretch that game against LGM quite long, considering how one-sided it was, which means in the grand scheme of things, Cade have to do the same here, but I just don't see it happening right now.
Well, we'll see. Right now, they've got a rough time in front of them. However, that said, there's not amazing game-ending potential from LGIM. They don't have the same comp as last time, where Jace was just destroying everyone. Mid King playing Jace and just doing so much damage from long range. Here, they're much more all-in. It is harder to dive towers here from LGIM, so I feel like even if they're farther ahead than they were in their first game of the day, closing the game out will be more difficult.
Well, we can see that the lane's being pushed up. 2 out of the 3 outer turrets are down. Blue buff is available, and we could see they're coming in. He actually will be smited away there by Vulcan, not wanting to risk that anymore. There's the rest of the team coming around. Pink ward put down as well by that blue buff, so that gives them vision. I say pink ward, it was actually the Oracle on top of Lash's head that I mistook for that pink ward. But either way, same principle. They're clearing out the wards on that top side of the jungle, which is another important part of pushing turrets, getting control and vision of the enemy's side of the map.
And this is very cohesive. What LGIM is doing is, they have a fairly early mid-game focused team. It's a lot of I should say mid-game focused team. It's a lot of assassination power, a lot of all-in, a lot of ability to kill off single targets very, very quickly. And they've said, okay, 14 minutes in, we've got a bit of a lead. Let's grab the oracles. Let's starve all the map vision and let's start pushing. If someone moves around to try to flank us or moves around to defend the turret, we'll see him coming. We can jump on him, pick up that kill, and a 5-on-4, even if we're not a long-range team, a 5-on-4 is a turret.
And we can see Midking again just going around Void Spike straight into the middle of the team. Rafa's taking a load of damage, and you've got the piercing arrow coming out of Varus. The poke is certainly there, actually. I mean,
yeah,
yes,
you're right.
It comes from
you're
the
right.
other side as well, but it's definitely there from LGIM.
It's the max piercing arrow of Varus, which is, to my knowledge, not the normal build for Varus, who's doing that for the poke power. And with Kha'Zix being this fed, you're darn right, Void Spike's quite a good poke here.
Yeah, and the actual spread of them as well is incredibly dangerous. Like, oh, we're behind the tower. Yes, piercing arrow. You've got to dodge left and right. You're not dodging Void Spikes.
Yeah, if you thought Mid King was hitting with really good accuracy in the first game as Jace, wait till you see him have 3 times the chance of hitting people.
Yeah. And right now, Mylon may be under pressure in this top lane. Actually, he's going to go in towards Lilac, but here comes Mid King, and he is going down. Lilac not even going to suffer too much of a problem with that one. And Mid King, and he's out of mana, which I think if he wasn't out of mana, he might have gone in for that one. Jace actually trying there from the side, not quite able to finish off Lilac.
You know, I really like that Mid King came to the top lane to support his Spider Queen and make sure she didn't go down. That's very good chivalry there.
God. You sure you're getting better than Jason?
That was a quality pun. I don't know what you're talking about.
You guys are spending far too much time together after the shows.
That might be true.
So let's have a look at the big picture here. 25, let's call it 26,000 gold to 18.3 thousand. 3-0 in turrets, 10-2 in kills. 6-0-1 Kha'Zix, which is the big thing here. He's got Bloodthirster, he's got Brutalizer, he's got the tier plus a longsword in there. He's pretty much destroying things right now. Jace, who has really been the one that's been destroyed, at least in the lane, is 1-3-0. He's got a Brutalizer and the tier to his name, which you don't have to be a genius to work out that 1v1 is not an option.
No, not for anyone on this team whatsoever. And I actually got to hand it to Mid King for a great sort of build adaptation. So we know Muramana is a very common pick for Kha'Zix, and oftentimes, and actually in the very first game we saw him, he actually would rush the Tier of the Goddess to get that item out sooner. In this case, he actually went Bloodthirster and Brutalizer before he even picked up Tier of the Goddess, and that allowed him to really snowball his early game lead, because you need some time to stack up Tier of the Goddess. You don't get much damage out of it for a while, and instead here he went attack damage, attack damage, attack damage, armor penetration, more attack damage, and then said, okay, now that we've crushed this mid-game point, I'll start advancing my build in some other directions.
We can see LGIM here pushing that middle turret out there in the top side of the Cade jungle. They're taking away literally everything that they can get their hands on here. The Oracle is going to be, if you attack move in the bush at least, going to be clearing out all the vision that the Brazilian side have actually got on this side of the map. And just overall, not looking too promising for Cade.
No, this is going to be another attempted push to try to get another turret down right here. A little bit of punishment on the Lilac, but I don't see him going down here by any means. Got a Glacial Shroud as well. And Mylon not in a good place.
Yeah, he's actually going to have to back away from this one, I think, because we are going to see Nocturne diving in, go straight in on towards the support. There's the Lulu ultimate. They're right in the middle. Finally, Kha'Zix gets shut down. Cade aren't doing a bad job here. They've managed to actually get 3. Can they get any more from it? Lilac going very, very low. Acceleration gate means he won't escape. Double kill for Ezreal. It was only Varus that got away. Incredible turnaround.
That was a beautiful fight. And you can just hear, I'm hoping you can hear the Brazilians just going mental in the background. The roar as they picked up kills was a little haunting almost. That was quite incredible. And this is exactly the move you want to see from Cade. Look at that. They pick up the kills. Immediately they turn to look for a major advantage. I think they had the chance to go for Baron, but 2 turrets actually is more gold than they would have gotten from Baron, which is probably a better comeback mechanic for them.
Yep, they will take that one in a turret, and well, it's the start for them. Oh, Varus coming in here. This could be bad for Luke. Not sure if he's going to be able to escape this one out. Piercing arrow actually not quite connecting there. He needs one more auto attack. The Ignite will actually finish it for him. Now he's on towards Mylon, who can slice and dice out with that acceleration gate to stay safe.
That was a really silly recall from Luke. He did not need to be so close to the enemy territory when he recalled there. So a bit of a mistake on his part, and that actually gives Incredible Miracle the chance to go for Baron on this one. Look at them go in.
Yeah, and you know, when that kind of fight happens and you lose so heavily, these Korean teams are, in my opinion, going to be one of the best outfits at saying, wow, that went really bad for us. How do we change it? And next time around, they nail it back on the other side. But we'll have to see. Baron very, very low here. Can they steal it away? Yes, they did. They stole it. Welcome stolen the barrel here. And Baron is going to go down in the end. But what are LGIM going to do about this one? It looks like they're backing off. And my God, can you believe it? They take 4 kills out of the last fight, then they steal a Baron.
I'm just going to let them talk for me. The chanting, the cheering. I mean, LGIM crushed the heck out of their first game, and Cade was 0-1 in this group, and this game just got close. That's quite the feat. That is an amazing set of plays right there. You know, the prior team fight back at the top of the map by the Lizard buff, it went a little bit bad for LGIM. They dove in a little bit too early. The Nocturne to Lulu initiation was really strong. They got the knock-up, but a beautiful crescendo. And actually, that prior fight, I have to say, I mean, this is 2 minutes in the past, but Vulcan on Xin Zhao won that fight for his team because Nocturne went in and his crescent sweep knocked everyone else away. So suddenly Ring is 1v5ing and just got dunked on. And then they tried to limp back in and couldn't do it. Very, very good fight from Cade back in the day. Amazing, amazing Baron steal. And they've got, though they're down in gold, I think they have the map control to start taking another turret here. And I think they can get this gold lead even closer.
12 minutes ago, we were talking about how Cade need to hold on to this one for as long as they possibly can. Now, are we talking about them being able to turn this one around? They are still behind. They're 4-2 in turrets, 13-6 in kills. This Kha'Zix has fed. We saw how quickly he was taken down in that last fight, though.
Yes.
Freak, how much of a chance do they have in this one with that Baron pickup, with that 4-man takedown? How much has that helped them get back in this match?
I think they have a real chance here because they finally got some real items on their champions. Look at Ezreal, 2-0-3, Bloodthirster Static Shiv. He is the richest member on his team and is actually about caught up with most people on Incredible Miracle. The thing that helps them a lot actually is that Mid King has built only damage and he's still trying to finish out some damage items. So he is killable in a team fight.
Look at this, they're not finished, they're going in for it. Mylon is going to come down, the ultimate comes out of Varus, but Paragon is in a lot of danger. Nocturne going to come around, the crescendo completely win. Lasher will die though, that is the first kill for them. They're going to back away and take themselves a Nocturne kill. He flashes, it wasn't enough, and now they may even try for some more turrets. Amazing.
We'll see if Renekton can get any dashes. He's got a 1 second till he can slice and dice forward. Looks like he's not quite going to find Varus, but they're reasonably healthy, have Baron, and have Sona. We're going to see if they can out-sustain the poke from Kha'Zix.
Yep, Kha'Zix there coming in from the side, and I think instantly Cade were like, whoa, he's still very, very painful for us at this stage. And that's going to be one thing that caused them problems, but Jace can return that favor there with the Shock Blast. And the question is, who has got the stronger poke here? And, well, the other problem is the LGIM have now respawned quite a few men, and you can see that Cade, realizing that, decided to back right off.
And actually a small mistake here from Cade, because if they had more vision on the map, more knowledge of what was available, they could have stolen away the Lizard buff down here and could have said, screw that lane, and just like backdoored bottom or maybe even backdoored top, because they have some real tanks. They have durable guys and they have damage output. Playing poke war against Kha'Zix is not going to be available for them very easily. That's going to be kind of the key here. If they can kill King, then they can actually push through and start taking down structures. If he's alive, his poke will really, really wave clear and really hurt Cade's health bars. So, Mid King needs to go away from them to siege very well, or they need to sort of find backdoors out of nowhere.
Where is the targeting going to come down from Cade's point of view on this one? Is it that Kha'Zix, I mean, he's the most fed in the team. He's putting out the most damage. Is that their prime target?
If they can get him, yes. He has to go into melee range to do anything major. He might sit in the back, use W, wait around, and wait for cooldowns to go down. But basically, Vulcan, he's going to be really, really tanky. Mylon's going to be really, really tanky. They can actually get in on squishy targets and start to really ruin days. And there's no easy all-in here from LGIM. They have to use Mid King to do that.
Oh, Lilac could have possibly got caught out there. Actually, he's going to rappel down right into the middle of them. The ultimate did come out of Varus to slow that push down. I'm wondering if LGIM are wanting to turn this one around. They've got Nocturne and Kha'Zix both coming in from the backside of them. They're still pushing through here. The acceleration gate will get them a bit further away, but Lilac is not finished yet. He's going and going. Snow's down to just above half HP, but LGIM quite happy to say, okay, we've forced them away. Let's get some vision down on the map.
Cade can fight here, though. They're in pretty good position. They've got all their ultimates and cooldowns up, which is really the important thing. When you saw that Elise got caught a Lilac there, Sona actually saved Crescendo and said, nah, you're a tank, you've got a Glacial Shroud, you've almost got the rest of Frozen Heart here, you've got a Warmogs. I'm not going to blow Crescendo on just you, it's not worth it. You can see their wave clear is amazing, they're not easily getting sieged out. Cade getting that last turn of events, getting only within 5,000 gold, they're able to withstand this push, and if they get the right engage, they could win another team fight.
Within 5,000 gold sounds ridiculous after, we were looking at an 8-minute start to the game. Was so one-sided in favor of LGIM, but now Cade doing a fantastic job of holding this one in. Vulcan, he's going to get cocooned there, but they're not able to quite lock him down. Mid-King still doing a good job with those void spikes and putting down as much damage as he can. There's a pressure back. Is Vulcan going to go for this one? Slowed down, but he's going in. Lasher under pressure. He's got the flash. He actually got knocked up there just as he got over the top. And Ring may well be the sacrificial lamb. Lasher goes down. Paragon goes down. Kha'Zix is still alive, but for how long he's burning? He goes down. It's going to be 4 men taken out. Where is Lilac? He's right in there. Surely this is going to be an ace. They flashed over the top. Ezreal manages to dodge. The cocoon won't land. Ezreal ultimate comes down. Where is the slice and dice that Mylon needs? It's coming up pretty soon.
3 seconds.
Will Lilac be able to escape this one? He's the last man left alive here for
She has
LGIM.
repel. She can go to the Wraith camp if they chase. She's safe right now. But they picked up a 4-for-1. Baron, if you can check the timer for that one, not up yet, but should be fairly soon actually. And they have the champions to kill Baron. Instead, they're going to back right away, knowing they don't want to get the counterattack Baron. Unfortunately, 4K did not get a single major objective off that team fight, but did throw that lead down to 3,500.
I'd love to give you the time, but we don't have timestamps.
That's okay. We'll get the next one.
We'll fix that for next game.
Okay.
We'll get the next one.
Okay. But it is very soon. It's within 30 seconds of now, which is why they recalled. And you can see them all running to the left of the map. Both these teams know that's next. Paragon's going to run up. And yep, there's the pings coming out. You can see that on the mini-map. Cade is pinging this. They know this is the next major objective. And such perfect timing here. Lizard buff is up for Rafis, which is huge.
And right now, the ward's going down onto the top of that Baron. It's in its position. Actually, Lilac is headed back home right now, which could give them an opportunity, but the vision for both teams not quite high enough to be safe. Peace of mind is just not there for either of these teams right now. We can see that LGIM don't really have any vision over on the red side of the map, and the same goes for Cade on the blue side of the map. So there's no real control of that Baron, and that's going to have to happen soon.
Now the only thing that's really there is the one pink ward, which at least gives Cade peace of mind. The only reason they're able to go for this blue buff right here is because they know that Incredible Miracle are not going for that themselves. However, if they send anyone else but Ezreal to this bottom lane, they give that as an availability. And here they go. LGM's going to start. They might get stopped in time, but it's going to be close.
It's going to need to be a steal at this point. The acceleration gate's helping everyone out. Here comes the Ezreal ultimate. They have vision already. What can they do? Can they get in there for the steal once again? LGIM are still doing the Baron. They're going to go in there.
Oh my God!
Steal it! 2 steals in 1 game. Amazing from Cade. Luffy's going to try and get away from this one. It won't work out for him, but Cade are not doing too well in the fight that ensues. Kha'Zix already got 2. We see Milo diving into Paragon. He picks that up, but here come Rappers and Snows. Can they mop up? They've managed to get themselves 1. There is Elise right down on top of them. The acceleration gate. Oh my God, freak. And then made 2 steals. I can't believe it.
Oh my gosh, that is loud.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Whoa.
I'm speechless. I'm sitting there like jaw open. I have no words. Cade, you found a couple of 10,000 new fans. You found thousands of new fans because dang, some of these fights quite good for you guys. And it looked so difficult too. Renekton failed to slice and dice over the wall. Xin Zhao was not in range, had no flash. The only thing they could have done was the accelerated shock blast from Snulls. And at the beginning, I said, he's only itemizing damage. He's going to be frail in this lane. It's going to be difficult for him to survive mid-king. But that damage he itemized, he's now 6-4 and 8. The damage he had allowed him to steal away Baron. And it looked so bleak at the beginning. Yeah, they stole Baron, but 1-2 kills went right away in LGIM's favor. But Mylon dove right in, killed off Paragon, and that was something I brought up that might have been a difficult thing for LGIM. They want to all in, but how are they going to keep Paragon safe? They couldn't. He got dropped, and now you're kind of seeing that come out here. Yes, mid-king's going to be incredibly powerful. He's got a lot of damage, but what's their fallback plan if they can't win by all-inning?
Well, we've just seen that. I mean, that fight was going well for LGIM until Snowles and Raffers actually joined properly into that fight right at the end there.
Yep.
And it's just a clean-up mission. They were full HP, and you just can't afford it. I mean, like you said, Paragon actually put his ultimate down on the first 3 men that were there, which is like the 2 that are doing the real damage weren't even part of that attack. So he had nothing to survive with by the end. And Elise obviously suffering the same fate. Cade gonna go home. And how much money have they got? Actually, not that much. They went back earlier on.
Now, here's going to be the real test, though, for Cade, is we've seen this time and again. The Brazilian teams can make these games neck and neck. They can get some brutally close games in this tournament. We have not yet seen them close out a game successfully, except against another Brazilian team. And that's going to be the real difficulty here. Cade has Baron. Cade is basically winning this game. They gave up Dragon. They haven't killed another turret. They haven't gotten a whole heck of a lot done for themselves. They're going right back down mid lane trying to get an inhibitor, but there's outer turrets all over the map available for them. You saw them right at the front door of top lane, and they 5-man recalled because, hold on, they might be looking at mid.
Spend.
Exactly. And so this is actually the difficulty, is can Cade close this out? Their Baron steals have been great. Their team fights have been awesome. Can they actually strategically win a game?
Well, we're going to find out here. I'm not saying how long it's going to take, because this could be easily one of those 50, 60-minute games that we see. And right now, Cade, they're still sieging up here by the steps. That naked inhibitor, as is a naked anything, too tempting for them to go anywhere else. Wow. Wow, I don't know where that came from. Well, they're going in onto the inhibitor anyway. Already down to half HP. And that is the first inhibitor of the game for Cade. Amazing play.
And that is really, really good for them. They've only got a few seconds left of Baron, about 30 seconds, and they're going to run right for the top lane. Now, I'm going to hope for their sake. There we go. There's the ward. This is a very important ward right here. This allows them to look at a lot of the important jungle, because they can easily see LGIM come out of mid. They've got super minions to spot for them. This top lane is theirs, and look at LGIM. They are saying, yes, let's go up mid lane. We're going to force them back again. We know they fight better than us. We're going to stretch it back out and force another recall. And that is the strategic play that you're seeing sort of as a difference here. What a great move by the Koreans. They said, yes, they're doing all this stuff. They're knocking at our front door, but we can dive mid lane. They've got to react to us.
And now they're headed down towards this lower inner turret. They should, or will they be able to have it away? We see that Cade have come back very, very quickly into this one. Mylon again right at the front there. He's well tanky. If he wants to get involved, they need to be a little bit careful, because we've seen time and time again this Renekton has been so offensive with getting in their faces and destroying them.
And I love what he's done with his build, actually. And I think part of this is his play style, and part of this is the opposing team. They will not go for Renekton first. Their team is all in dive, and they're so good at diving, they can dive anyone. They don't have to hit the front line. So Renekton is going to largely be ignored. So what he's done is built Hex Drinker and a Brutalizer and Sunfire Cape instead of Warmugs, giving him more damage, allowing him to actually hit Paragon or hit Mid King or hit Lasha. Mylon's doing a much more damage-oriented build for a Renekton, and it's actually succeeding very well because of the enemy team.
We see once again Cade going to take the last outer turret that remains here in this game. And are they going to be forced to recall? Yes, they are. Once again, LGIM pushing them up middle. They didn't go any further than that inner turret position last time around. It was all about forcing them to back away and not push any of those inner turrets down. That's exactly what's going to happen again.
And with that, though, Cade has put themselves in the most turret kills of the game now. They finally just pushed those outer turrets down. That middle inhibitor, it's not doing a lot for them, but they've taken the outer turrets, then recalled back. Taken the outer turrets, recalled back. Them shoving mid like this gives them that breathing room, and this is going to be difficult. LGIM's looking for a brush bait.
They could do with some wolves, that's for sure. But what's going to happen here? Mylon and the rest of them, they're there. They're staying as a team. Can they react fast enough? There's a Cocoon, actually misses. The Void Spikes have missed as well. How is this one going to go down? Crescendo in towards Vulcan. Mid King taken already quite low. Mylon suffering the same fate though. There is the first kill of this one. Vulcan will dive in on towards Ring. He flashes away. We see Edriel managing to get Elise, but is he going to have enough of a cleanup crew? Jump away again as the Q comes out from Jace. They're super low. They are super, super low. Good slow from Kelly. Flashing from Luke. Takes down Lasher at the end. Can Mid King get away? The Q. He jumps away. But again, a 2-for-1. Crazy stuff, Freak.
And there we go. Mylon actually just dove himself right in there. Took a lot of damage. Got killed. Oh, they're going to try to fight Paragon. They got him. The ward found him. They've killed the AD carry. And this gives them a 4-on-2 on the map. They pinged Baron. They pinged the inner turret. Inner turret, this could be an inhibitor for them.
Just looking at that Baron timer. It is at 27:33, the last takedown. I can hardly hear myself speak here. The Brazilian crowd going absolutely nuts for Cade's performance right now. They've got a decent amount of gold again. They're going to go home, get themselves all finished up. Yeah, that ward was just ridiculous.
That ward killed Paragon. 3 minutes, and it just timed out too. Like that was the last 5 seconds of that ward. I'm sorry, I just felt like talking about that ward. Please continue, Joe.
Well, you said it was an important ward when they put it down, and look what it turned out to be.
Soothsayer freak.
We're going to do the lottery tonight together, and we're going to win.
All right.
Maybe not.
No, we got this.
We got it. We got it on lockdown. So let's have a look at the items now, because we may or may not have a bit of a quiet period. I mean,
quiet with this audience?
Look at its 400 gold difference. It's not even funny how close this game is after 35 minutes, and now Baron is being started off once again by Cade. What an incredible miracle going to do. They don't have Varus anywhere near it. If they fight now, they could end up being massacred. It's down to half HP. What's going to happen? They dive out on towards Ring. We see actually Sin show up on the top side. Lulu ulti to save Ring. Is he going to save him? No, it won't. 2 more going down here in surely a matter of seconds. Lilac trying to get away. Kazik jumps away. Lasher goes down. Here comes a slice and dice once again. Lilac will somehow get away from that one. He won't see Varus having the same fortune. And Mid King jumps back in and again doesn't quite work it out. And that will be a 5 for 3 ace coming down.
And they can go for the Nexus now. They've got 2 members alive. They've got super minions in the base. This could be Cade taking down. Oh, the inhibitor respawns. They have to kill the inhibitor first. They've got 15 seconds until Nocturne and Lulu come up. I don't know if it's going to be enough time. Rafis, he's trying to get his attack speed back up by hitting things with Mystic Shot. They've got 8 seconds. The turret's down to half.
Here we go then. What can Rafis actually do is giving the speed buff there to Luke. They've got the second Nexus turret down to half. Here comes the Nocturne ultimate. Rafis, are you going to ignore it? Are you going to keep going? Yes. Second Nexus turret goes down. Ring has managed to take down Sona. Can Rafis escape? That's a double buff that you don't want to lose. Arcane shift over the wall. He's still living.
He's going to get I don't know. Ring is maybe trying to give chase, but he might just defend the turret instead. He might survive this one. You got minions at the top. Yes. Yeah, you got minions flooding in everywhere because when the minions are in your base like that, there aren't any waves to go to the sides. You've seen every inner turret gone now. There is literally 1 turret left alive in LGIM's base. 2 inhibitors, 1 turret, 5 minutes of super minions coming down the mid lane. There is a very real possibility that Cade, I mean, they are winning. Yes, they are winning. This could be great for them.
But how is this going to go? Baron has been started again by LGIM. We have Snolls there. We have Mylon there. We have Vulcan there. We have the Ezreal ultimate coming in. It's getting down low. Can they steal for a 3rd time in a row? No, they decide not to go for it. Maybe a wiser choice this time around.
Okay, but that's going to kind of reset the game a little bit. Now the gold, neck and neck. With the Baron buff, LGIM is going to have a much closer team fight. We've seen, I think, 4 team fights in a row. Cade won. Cade have been winning team fights over and over and over and over again. And if you kind of just had them keep bashing heads against each other, you would see the same thing happen. However, now you have LGIM with Baron buff. That gives them, I think, the edge they need to say, we can fight equally. So the next fight's going to be very, very, very close. However, if Cade wins a fight, even by +1 member, they will win the game off of that. There is almost no chance that they can't close the game out with a single team fight win. The question is, does Cade look for that fight now? Do they get amped up, say, look, if we kill you, the inhibitor's down, we can close it, or do they wait the 4 minutes for Baron buff? Because LGIM are going to be afraid. They know they could lose this game. If they leave their base, they can get backdoored. There's still 3 minutes until the inhibitor comes back up. That Nexus will die to anyone backdooring it. Cade, honestly, they could go for an Oracle's jungle sneak and just backdoor by jumping over the wall. There's a lot of opportunities here for Cade.
Well, what are they going to go for? Honestly, Freak, after these 38 minutes and 40 seconds, I have not got a clue what's going to happen towards the end of this one. 2 Baron steals already coming out from Cade. They were looking down and out after about 8 minutes. And now they've turned this one around. It looks like top lane is going to be the target. They want to get that second inhibitor down and out of the map to allow those super minions to really put the pressure on to LGIM. Nocturne is having to recall from this bottom lane. It's 10-4 in turrets to Cade. I still can't quite believe that I'm saying that. but they are pushing in for inhibitor number, well, I guess technically number 3, since the last one respawned right in front of them when they were looking for those Nexus turrets. This game could have been over if it wasn't for that.
If it weren't for that inhibitor, they would have won the game. That inhibitor is if LGIM wins, the inhibitor is the MVP of this game. That inhibitor respawn is the MVP if LGIM wins this one, because that saved them from losing here. But the siege is on. The difficulty being that they are still against that same fed mid king, and they are against a Baron buff. So their poke will not last very long. There's so much regeneration coming out from Baron buff. This siege is going to be difficult. What they have on their side, though, is this giant minion wave must be answered. It will kill a Nexus by itself if they don't answer that. Cade are going to take away this golem buff. They've still got about a minute and a half left of an inhibitor down, and they have those 90 seconds to siege. If they can get something from that siege, they might close the game out. If they don't, they're going to have to wait till Baron is gone and look for another opportunity.
Cade once again coming in towards this top lane. The inhibitor is open again. Jace just spamming those Qs wherever possible. Every little bit of damage helping this siege that they can, well, they're trying to put down to getting onto that inhibitor. Up until now, though, LGIM doing a fantastic job of completely repelling everything that Cade have thrown at them in this top lane there by that inhibitor. Have they now got a chance, though? Because we've seen Lulu and Varus back away a little bit from that one. Have Cade got what it takes to take this one?
They certainly can. They certainly can. And you've got a Baron buff with only a minute left. Inhibitor coming back very, very soon. 1 minute, I don't know. They haven't put much headway at all in this inhibitor. And inhibitors regenerate health. So, I mean, the fact that they haven't done anything really major here and are still kind of waiting and hoping they can put out damage, they are just simply not able to siege. Let's watch this next wave. It'll get wave cleared just like the rest. And there is just no headway being made. And this could be a difficulty for Cade because they're just afraid. Look at that. Mid King eviscerates the minion wave. Piercing arrow comes down. They need to actually win a fight to push. And you're seeing that here time and again. They have to actually win a fight to make these pushes work.
And we can see that on the minimap, everybody is going home for Cade. What do they have in terms of cash? Decent amounts to be spending, but at this stage of the game, we're pushing right up to there towards max builds. It's only 41 minutes in, Freak. It feels like at least a 60-minute game by now. That's how action-packed this one has been so far. Are they going to be able to do it here, Cade? They've done so much already in this match. I just hope from a neutral standpoint, I have to say, the comeback as a neutral here is just magical.
And you can't help but get kind of won over by this Brazilian crowd because they go absolutely crazy when things. They cheered because they started pushing top lane 2 minutes ago. They are just an immensely amazing crowd, and they've got a lot of chance here. Honestly, Cade and Brazilian esports in general, they're looking great. The siege is back. Baron buff is now gone, which helps Cade quite a bit. The thing is, I still don't think they can actually push through like this. I think they've got some good poke damage, and that's nice. But I don't know if they can completely push through.
Oh, actually, Mylon just started to work his way forward there. Avoid Spike coming down, not doing super amounts of damage. You should note now that there is a Guardian Angel on mid-king as the thunder rumbles here overhead. Is that going to be a sign for this Cade team? Is it time to go for them? Well, doesn't look like it. Oh, Cocoon landing there onto Mylon. It's good damage, but again, Cade backing off.
I actually like the synergy with the weather that Cade has. They've got Shock Blast and a Static Shiv with a Thunderstorm overhead. I think they've got the elements in their favor.
The power is on their side.
The power is yours.
Hopefully the rain doesn't flood us out before we get to the end of this epic game. As Cade still trying to push through, and still landing those Shock Blasts over and over from Snolls. And this is something important. You mentioned it last time, and it actually got them more than just vision. It got them a kill at the end of a very big fight, and therefore the 2 Nexus turrets. These wards in the enemy side of the jungle, they're backing away down towards the Dragon Pit. Is that even worth it right now?
Dragon, no, because Baron's too close right now. Cade, honestly, they could switch gears, though. The siege has not been working. They can play the gold starvation game. We've seen teams try to win games this way, where they say, okay, we're ahead. We will take the jungle over and over and over again. We will take all the buffs. We'll take the gold from that. And we will stretch a gold lead by killing neutral monsters and get that 1.5 items ahead, and then turn that into the Baron fight, and then close the game with Baron. That, they've spent the last 6 minutes basically trying to siege unsuccessfully. They've now finally taken away their own red and blue buff. Baron, they know, is coming up. They need to grab an Oracles. They need to sweep all the wards. They need to bait LGIM into a really bad fight. Cade can do that. They have the team fight power. They have the gold to spend on the wards and on the Oracles. They just need to make that happen. The Oracles is there on Sona. They've got 2.5 minutes left on that. They've got a Ruby Sightstone. No other wards on their inventory, though. We'll see if that's going to be enough for them to starve out a Baron push.
The crowd is singing right now for Cade. I have never been part of such an amazing atmosphere here. You'd think there are at least 3 times as many people in that crowd. It's not that many. They're just unbelievably passionate here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Brazil. And right now we have that siege poke wall going around by the Baron. It's spawned in. Cade are going to start it off. The question is, what will LGIM be able to do about this one? Baron has not lost too much health. It's only Mylon who's going at it. There is the Shurelya's pop. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for the fight here. Big King dives in there. Ring is in the front as well. Raffas is doing a great job of kiting with that Iceborne Gauntlet. Ring going very low. Raffas, will he go down? Yes, finally. But Big King is there with Jace hammering away from them. That Guardian Angel is popped. Will he be able to jump away? Will he be able to finish off? No, he won't. Double kill for Renekton. That is a 3-for-1 in favor of Cade. Oh, 3-for-2 there just right at the end from Lasher.
And the damage output from Snowles is so huge right now. This 3-on-2, this is going to be incredibly important. He's level 18. He's got that max hypercharge. He's going to eviscerate buildings. Look at how fast that inhibitor goes down, but they're low on health. They've got to be careful about this. If they don't close the game out here and they stay for too long, they could give away Baron. They're actually going to back up with just the inhibitor. 3 alive. They've got a little bit of sustain, so not a lot of mana. They're not looking at Baron either. They don't see Mylon recalling. They're not going to pick that one up. Losh are going to head his way back out. No other major advantage picked up for Cade, just the plus 400 gold for getting an extra kill in that fight. It's still neck and neck.
Loop just been denied his recall there. Snowles taking away as much as he can from the jungle. Loop's like, minions going through, I don't care. We've got super minions going the other way. They'll sort them out. The next focus for us is going to have to be around Baron. And
yes.
You just know that whoever comes out with an advantage now at 46 minutes into the game, those spawn times are so huge, it could be GG right there.
So Cade has like a 90% chance of getting Baron off of this because they're now in a beautiful situation because they've got super minions piling down mid lane and there are no turrets to stop that, which means if they sit there and just let minions fight minions, Cade will just win the game by default. So someone from LGIM has to defend the base at some point, and that base is very far from Baron. If Cade plays this right, and this is what they should do, they're shoving out the top lane minions, they try to shove down the bottom lane minions, and they just need to sit at Baron and make LGIM try to do something, because the minions will win them the game if they actually contest Baron.
And what they're doing here is starting off the Baron. What are they going to do? Peel off instantly there. Shurelya's Reverie is popped by Sona.
They don't need to fight.
Will they go in? No, as you say, they don't need to fight. They can just hold them right here. They either give up Baron or they let those minions go straight through. But look at Cade's positioning. They're going straight down that middle lane.
They're going to recall now.
They're going to go for this one. They've got to recall. Have they got time for this one? Cade are rushing into the base. They've not got time to recall. There are no Nexus turrets left. The Nexus is open. They can't come through. They've won the game. We spoiled the game, but they've won the game anyway. An amazing, amazing performance on this one. They're fighting in the base at the end, but it doesn't matter. The crowd going wild. And bursting blood vessels.
I think the crowd is talking for us there. It was actually, that fight looks like a 5-0 ace. You can see them on your screen. Ridiculous comeback. Amazing, amazing job by them. Jumping around on screen. The Brazilians going nuts for them. That is a very, very, very well-deserved win. Cade, 1-1 in the group. LGIM, 1-1 in the group. Oh man, Brazilians finally beat a foreign team here.
You can see what it means to them as well there. Brazilian flags, the crowd all on their feet, singing, wow. But it's not over just yet, it's 1-1.
No.
Yeah, they're 1-1. They're 1-1 in the group. LGIM, they're 1-1 in the group, and next is 0-1. And the funny thing is, the other Brazilian team in this side of things, inside, are actually the ones with the clean record right now.
They are 1-0.
Incredible.
Wow. That is incredible. That is absolutely, that is the word to describe this match. Was incredible, because they were, I mean, our conversation was, yeah, you know what, you're right. LGIM's going to win this game. They're going to try to buy as much time as possible to not get knocked out, hope for a tiebreaker here, and hope that something miraculous happens. Well, something miraculous happened, and it was them winning the game instead. I mean, I think this day, this physical day, has been one of the days with the most ludicrous League of Legends matches ever. Over in Korea, we saw Jungle Heimerdinger win in under 20 minutes against CJ Entis. We just saw the arguable favorite for the entire tournament drop to 0-1 in groups, one of the Brazilian teams that people had almost kind of thrown out at this point and said, nah, guys, we know how to take these games over. 2 amazing Baron steals by 2 different people. Vulcan coming in taking the first one, and he died for it. He went 0-1 but stole Baron. The next one was Snow's. Didn't even have Smite. That was just shot glass acceleration gate, and they won the fight afterwards. Cade, amazing.
Just incredible stuff. I'm almost lost for words there about how they managed to pull this one off. I mean, like you said, we were talking about, they just need to stretch this one out. Maybe they get through on that whole time breaker thing if they're lucky, but what a turnaround there. And this Brazilian crowd must have definitely helped them in that one. They were so ridiculously loud. I could hardly hear you speaking for most of the ending of that game there. Just overall, a brilliant experience for everyone. Amazing.
And, I mean, I want to go back to that crowd because you mentioned them, how they kind of lift their spirits, and I think it's completely true. And again, they would cheer for, like, they're pushing mid. Yeah, they're pushing mid. Let's
yeah.
And they're just like, getting fired up for everything. Anytime a kill happened, just at the top of their lungs, you do not want to be in that crowd. You'll go deaf.
So we're going to throw it over to the experts. They're going to break down that victory.
Thanks very much, guys. What an incredible game we've just witnessed. You know what? We thought when we saw XPeke backdoor the Nexus a couple of weeks ago in Katowice, we'd seen it all. We obviously hadn't. We'd never seen anything like this. After 16 minutes of this game, it was going absolutely where we thought it was going to go. LGIM were cruising. Nowhere were keyed in this game, and then suddenly they broke off into a 4-1. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to take you back to the end of the game, which unfortunately you missed due to the celebrations of the players on the stage. So Jason, take it away just at the end. Let's see this final fight as they moved in towards the Nexus. Maybe we can't get that right now, but we'll come back to that in a moment. How on earth do we recap such a game? I mean, long game anyway, but keyed completely out of the game for 16 minutes. Apparently we have got the replay ready, so let's jump into that now.
Not going to commentate this, just let it happen.
Yeah, I just watch it through. This came after, of course, they were baited at Baron. They baited LGIM to come into Baron Riv, and they didn't go for it. They let LGIM have the Baron effectively, and then just pushed through mid anyway.
It was the perfect strategy. Every fight has gone so far for the past 15-20 minutes where not all 5 people of Cade have died. So that means no matter what happens in this fight, they have people left for the Nexus.
And there it is. Celebrated yet again by the crowd here, who have been phenomenal.
Oh my God, we thought they were going to come through the wall back here.
They were shouting football chants halfway through that game. So where do we start to go through this? I mean, it's insane. Let's start at 16 minutes 40, because that was pretty much LGM led on 10-2 on kills. They were up 26 to 18k in gold, so 8k in gold lead, and they were up turrets 4-0, cruising, absolutely cruising. And then 17 minutes 30 into the game. I don't know whether you can find that replay, Jason.
Yep, I'm here.
You got it ready?
Perfect.
Okay, let's show the replay. This is 17 minutes 30 into the game. And what we've got here right now is a complete turnaround to the game, Riv. This was LGIM completely in control, cruising, no problem at all, and then this happens.
Very overzealous, but a great idea. They want Nocturne in the middle of the fight for a perfect Lulu ult. But watch the factor of Xin Zhao's ult come into this fight. They're going to back around. You're going to see a small catch here. Lulu and Renekton up top. And then the fight's going to initiate as you see Sona come around the backside of the bottom here. Nocturne's going to throw on his ultimate. And this is exactly what they wanted. He dives into as many people as he can. The Lulu ultimate is going to pop everybody up, but watch Vulcan's ult. He stops that damage that was going to happen from everybody and puts them inside the fight. Perfect turnaround. And like you said, we were talking here, like, they got a little too greedy there, and it was the turn of the match, Jay.
Yeah. So that was 17:30. We'll also find the next bit of action, which was 19 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, where we saw. We all love Baron steals, right? I mean, that's
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so and this was the perfect Baron steal, just coming 2 minutes after a 4-for-1 kill fight with a team fight between the two of them. And here we go with the Baron steal. Right at the very end.
The least likely way, too. You know, he hops in by himself.
Yeah, I mean,
and the team knows not to go in. This was another perfect call by Cade here. They know they're not going to take this. They are fine with the Baron.
Yeah. And there it is. Baron stolen away, and that wasn't the first Baron they stole. They then went on to steal yet another Baron
that
as
was
well.
The first, that was
the first one, but it wasn't the last one they
Right.
stole. They actually stole another one as well. Just absolutely unbelievable game. I mean, we've just witnessed some history being made right now. South American esports, Brazilian esports, Brazilian League of Legends have now put their name on the map firmly.
Of course. And one of my favorite statistics that we were looking at was the fact that, LGIM carrying Korean style. They're going to come in, make it a low economy game, crush your turrets, make sure you have no farm. But what was it, 16 minutes, I think, was when they took?
16 minutes 40, and they had a 4-0 turret lead. So from then until, I think till the end of the game, they only took 4 turrets for the whole game.
So up until 16 minutes, they were doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't get any more turrets.
Nothing after that game.
Where did Cade come out so strong?
Yeah.
That fight and the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, that crowd was just powering
gosh.
them. We could barely hear each other talking, like Joe and Freak are saying. They could not hear each other as that fight was going on, and that got them completely back in the game. Very well played.
It was. I mean, just a few statistics we'll read off for you here.
Yeah.
So 16 minutes 40, LG led 10-2 on kills. They were 26.2, 18k gold up, 4 turrets to 0. On 35 minutes, so pretty much the same amount of time just later, 35 minutes, it was actually completely flipped around. It was actually Keed leading 24-20 kills, 60k and 59k on gold, and 10-4 to turrets.
And it actually took them that 35 minutes to start gaining the first time they were above in the lead. So they were down on their heels the whole time, but being down, they managed to actually put LGIM on their heels somehow.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal game. What does the rest of this group look like now? Because that's the next story. I mean, we put the banker on the board. We said it, Incredible Miracle would roll through an Nexus. They did, no problem. They showed exactly why they're the favourites here in Brazil. They've come into the Keed game. We had them pegged as favourites by a long way if they were going to beat a Nexus that easy. 16 minutes into the game, everything fine. They've lost the game now, which makes them 1-1. It also puts Keed on 1-1, and we all know that the other Brazilian team, Insight, have already got 1-0. If they beat a Nexus, they're top of the group right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to feed off the crowd's energy off that last game. They really want to prove that, I want to say Brazilian brother team, that they can, outplay teams as well. And I'm sure, they have a very good chance of doing that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, guys. We're going to take a very quick break. You have seen some history made, ladies and gentlemen. A Brazilian team has beaten a Korean team in League of Legends. We'll be back shortly.